Now on NBC Connecticut today at 9, a second deadly terror attack in England in less than 2 weeks. The death toll rising overnight, and now 12 arrests made this morning. The breaking details are straight ahead. And as the investigation kicks into high gear, reaction is pouring in from around the world. The global response and how police are on heightened alert right here at home.
And it is a nice start to your Sunday morning, but First Alert Future Radar very active this afternoon and beyond. How long the rain will stick around and what to expect for the rest of your weekend coming up in your First Alert forecast. Stay with us. NBC Connecticut Today is next.
MGM says they want a good deal for Connecticut, but listen to MGM executives when our backs are turned.
I just want their money to come here. We are ideally positioned to go into Hartford and attack.
We can stop MGM's attack by letting the Meshantucket, Pequot, and Mohegan tribes build a new casino at their own expense. The tribes have contributed over $7 billion to Connecticut, and their plan will save thousands of jobs. MGM just wants our money.
I just want their money to come here.
Right now on NBC Connecticut.
Terror in London. The death toll rising overnight after a pair of attacks at two of the city's biggest destinations. Metropolitan Police moved in fast to evacuate the bustling areas. From England to here at home, police remain on high alert as the attacks are declared terrorism. We have complete team coverage as the race to figure out who's responsible gets underway right now. And good morning, everyone. I'm Leslie Mays. We begin with breaking news out of the UK. At least 10 people, including 3 suspects, are dead this morning. Another 48 hurt after 2 terror attacks in the heart of London. And right now we're learning that 12 people have been arrested this morning. The attacks began when a van veered off the road and barreled into pedestrians on the London Bridge around 10 p.m. London time yesterday. Now, armed officers began to respond to reports of a stabbing at a nearby Borough Market, and shots there were fired. Now, Metropolitan Police have declared that what happened at both locations are acts of terrorism. This morning, the city's mayor says there is no justification for the attack.
I'm appalled and furious that these cowardly terrorists would deliberately target innocent Londoners and bystanders enjoying their Saturday night. There can be no justification for the acts of these terrorists, and I'm quite clear that we will never let them win.
London's mayor says a number of the wounded victims are in the hospital in critical condition. There have been no immediate claims of responsibility for the attack. Prime Minister Theresa May held an emergency security cabinet meeting this morning to deal with the crisis. And Metropolitan Police responded within minutes to evacuate the busy area for tourists and Londoners out for their Saturday night. Witnesses describe the terrifying moments as they scrambled for safety.
The bridge, I saw a first guy getting stabbed, which I told his man. He's I've been stabbed. I thought it was a joke. Next minute, he went on the side, and then I saw all the blood coming out of him.
I hid in a restaurant basement for about an hour, and then we were down there for quite a while. The police told us to get out, and then there was more gunfire, I'd say, pretty much as soon as we left the building.
Yeah, I saw people running, screaming. Somebody was injured. I see people with some blood, and it's been like the worst 30 minutes of my life, honestly.
This morning, London's mayor says all residents should remain vigilant as the terrorist threat level remains at severe. And back here in Connecticut, people are going on with their daily lives. But did last night's attack change anyone's feelings about traveling abroad? NBC Connecticut's Kristen Johnson continues our team coverage live in Windsor Locks. Kristen, good morning.
Good morning here at Bradley International Airport. It's a very busy morning, but so far, everyone that we've spoken to says they're not going to let yesterday's attack or the recent events that have happened around the globe deter them or influence their travel plans. One passenger telling us she has no control over what's going to happen, so there's really no sense in worrying. Connecticut State Police are reminding people to be vigilant and report anything that seems out of the ordinary.
I do look around, I check things out, and, you know, if I see something suspicious, I always report it.
I never have desired to go overseas. I find enough places in the United States to visit.
There was one woman that we spoke to who pointed out that traveling is already a very nerve-wracking experience for some, so these terrorist attacks are just adding another level of apprehension. We're going to hear from her coming up in the next half hour, but right now, according to the governor's office and Connecticut State Police, there are no new threats to the state. Back to you.
Kristen, thank you. British Prime Minister Theresa May is calling for tougher measures to fight Islamic extremism after another night of terrorism in England. Police say they have disrupted 5 credible plots since the attack at Westminster Bridge back in March. The Prime Minister spoke about the wave of extremism spreading across the country, this being the 3rd attack in just 4 months in the UK.
While the recent attacks are not connected by common networks, they are connected in one important sense. They are bound together by the single evil ideology of Islamist extremism that preaches hatred, sows division, and promotes sectarianism.
Prime Minister May says the country cannot and must not pretend that things can continue as they are when it comes to these types of attacks. And the White House is updating President Trump on the attacks in London. The president was briefed on the situation last night before he took to social media. He tweeted several times, writing in part, quote, "We need to be smart, vigilant, and tough. And whatever the United States can do to help out in London and the UK, we will be there. We are with you. God bless." And you can stay with NBC Connecticut and NBC News for the latest on this developing story from England. Get the newest information from London on air, online, and of course on the NBC Connecticut app. Time now to get a check of your first alert forecast with meteorologist Darren Sweeney.
All right, thank you, Leslie. Good morning, everyone. Time now 9:05. Live pictures here in Waterbury from our HD Skycam. Looking great here. Some folks checking out the green, and we've got some clear blue sky in the distance here, but things will be changing rapidly this afternoon. Temperatures right now mainly into the 50s, where we've got some sunshine going, which is a good portion of the state right now, up to 62 in Hartford, 60 in Bristol. Live first alert Doppler radar. Quiet, but look at what's just up to our north and west. I'm going to put on the clouds here, put on the precipitation, the radar. You can see this line of rain is working south and east. Let's time it out for you to help you plan the rest of your Sunday here. This is first alert future radar. Dry through about noon, 1 o'clock. But the clouds will be increasing, so you'll see the sunshine going away. Literally every half hour or so, that sunshine will get more dim until we were totally overcast by, say, noon, 1 o'clock. I think by 2 or 3 o'clock, especially western Connecticut, we start to see some rain overspreading the state. I think everyone gets into some light rain, perhaps even 1 or 2 pockets of moderate raindrops coming on down. And this is going to continue right through the evening hours. So it's going to be a damp end to the day. Now, these numbers that you're seeing here for your forecast high temperatures are going to occur between, say, now and noon, 1 o'clock. Once the clouds thicken and once that rain starts to fall, I do expect these numbers to drop through the 60s. So it will be a damp and kind of a raw end to the day and into the evening hours. The rain is going to stick around at least on and off for the next couple of days. We'll time it out for you and help you plan the week ahead, coming up with your exclusive 10-day forecast. For now, Leslie, back to you.
All right, Darren, thank you. That is some new information. Investigators in Danbury are trying to figure out why a man was walking on train tracks before he was hit Friday night. MTA police responded just before midnight Friday to an area of track between East Liberty and Taylor Streets. The man was flown to Yale New Haven Hospital to be treated for a serious leg injury. No one else was hurt. And Connecticut State Police are laying off on layoffs for now. Those layoffs on hold at the moment. NBC Connecticut learned last month that as many as 7 troopers would be laid off, and a training class of 80 recruits would be cut to save $3 million in the state budget. But the union representing state police now says it will hold off on those notices until negotiations are finalized. The time now is 9:07. Coming up, we're staying on top of breaking news from London, England. At least 12 arrested in 2 deadly attacks in the heart of the city. We're working on gathering more details. We'll bring them to you live. And as another terror attack unfolds, one British city is getting ready to pay respect to victims of another. We'll tell you how Manchester is stepping up security for tonight's benefit concert when we come back.